Oh, good morning, everyone. I don't think it's a lazy Sunday at all. Um, Honestly, this has been the same opening statement which I've said in the last two sessions that I've partnered with you all. And that is this. It cannot be a lazy Sunday if you all have woken up early in the morning, decked up, charged your mobiles or your laptops, and getting on to a session which enhances nothing else than you. So I don't think it's lazy at all. And my good friend Arun would be loving to go ahead and give a pun on that because he's woken up early. I've woken up early. And I think for a session, there's a lot of planning which comes through, right? And if you haven't guessed it already, I'm actually laying down the foundation of what we're going to be doing today. So there it is. It's right up there on the board. Enhancing personal effectiveness. Let's try to understand this concept of the topic of today's session. And that's why hats off to COVID. I've got a good cinema screen for you all, and there's the whole bunch of people over there. Forget the empty screens, but that will probably be one of you all sitting in one of them far off. We, not I, we personally believe every one of you has your own charisma, charm, and personal effectiveness. Absolutely there. The problem, if I may use that word, is how to have this at practically every go of life, and definitely when you need it the most, in the most seamless situation whatsoever. Enhancing personal effectiveness. Let's look at this. We all knew it from the time we were small. I did it. I can vouch for Arun. I can vouch for people like you. When we wanted to go for that nice zoo trip, and we had to go in and convince our dad that we're going to go out, or speak to our mom and ask her for something else, or try to convince her that don't make the normal dinner, do something else different. We put on our charm, did we? Some of us swirled on that stand. We moved our leg left and right. We tilted our head. We gave that smile. We gave something else. And we got the job done. The problem is, today, when we are into a COVID situation and we're sitting on Microsoft Teams or Zoom meetings for school, and we're going ahead and the teacher suddenly calls out, Andrew, answer the question. We are not ready. We have not decked up. Suddenly, we're learning for words. We do not know how to start off. And it seems so good and so easy to start off something else, and suddenly this is more difficult. Well, while you use personal effectiveness that day to go ahead and get your favorite cooking or probably get that extra pocket money to go to the zoo with your friends, this is a good time to impress your student, your teachers as well. And I'm using impress as the most natural, subtle, and original way of reaching out to people. That's what impressions are, right? That's what impressions are. Every single ad that you see on the TV is to impress you. The people are dressed up, they're looking good, they're walking in fine, they've got the latest phone, the background image is good. I mean, Zoom is doing it. Microsoft Team is doing it. Everybody's doing it, right? You got lovely background looks to enhance your look and feel, right? And that's that topic. Enhancing personal effectiveness. Personal you effectiveness to really go ahead and win it. To make it something really worthy. And you're already stars in your own right. And this is not a spiel. I firmly believe, as we start on the session now, every one of us are a brand in their own right. An absolute brand. That's why you get friends. That's why you get people who want to reach out to you. That's why people want to meet you. That's why people might say, I think he's good to be a head boy or a head girl. Why? Because somehow you reached out and made a difference. And that's what today's session is. Last one little disclaimer here. Personal effectiveness does not happen overnight. If you really are interested in the biggest brand of all, which is you, then you've got to take out some major time for it. It's not just your hair, your looks, it's overall, and we're going to talk about it today. Today's class is more of a masterclass on 1 hour to give you a couple of good factors to think about and mull it over, while I look forward to having something with you even more in depth, because such things evolve over time, doesn't it? Doesn't your gym training take, you don't go for one gym class for about an hour and you come out with popping abs, right? You come out and you go and work it over a period of time. And that's how important it is. Okay, a little bit of a background to why I'm telling you this and where we are from. My name is Andrew Ryder, and I head an organization called Material Knowledge Solutions. A background of about 20 years in hospitality, hotels, restaurants, academics, retail. I've been a consultant over the last couple of years, and I am an ardent hospitality consultant and a career counselor and guide. So today, most of all, I leave the floor open to one big introduction of myself. I'm going to be your guide for today. Let's see. The major agenda for today, as we go forward, the major thing which I want you to talk about is this session of enhancing personal effectiveness is about building brand you. You are the brand. For further stream selections, to get into college, institutes, or be recruited by a company, they choose you. You are still not that company. But somehow they look for something which is called fitment. Whether you fit the ethos, vision, and values of the brand. And when you fit that, it seems like you are the brand. And then you join in. And finally, you become the brand. This session is all about building brand you. And this is for every one of you to take away certain things. If you haven't been able to download the PDF right now, don't worry. A lot of it is from the slides and the presentations that I'm going to be showing you today. So it's going to be a good takeaway for you to read later on and to mull it over, think it over, and think how this can associate with you. Good. You already got our coordinates. So in case you've got some more questions, which possibly you haven't caught during this program towards the end, you can even reach it to us even then. As I said, we are the guide by your side. So let's see, building brand you, what are we trying to do today? Today's agenda is talking about, primarily in this 1 hour session, is about 3 basic foundations of enhancing your own personal effectiveness. Number 1 is image projection. The look, the walk, the feel, the personality. This is what we're going to cover into image projection. We're going to go through our next session a little later in about 20 minutes down the line, and that is going to be something on time management and effective time management to get your objectives, of a better want of better word, get your job done. And next is planning and organizing. I mean, where would we be without planning and organizing, right? This is the 3 major topics, discussions, and deliberations that we're going to happen today. And I'm using the word deliberate because I want you to think. This is not Harry Potter's magic wand. I cannot do some kind of magic spell here. Don't worry, I know quite a lot of the Harry Potter ones, but still. This one is to help you take away certain things and start to use it on the biggest brand you'll ever work for your whole life. And that is you yourself. Okay, that's it. Image projection, time management, planning, and organizing. Let's look it through. Okay. Now, in image projection, we are going to look through a couple of the most important things which run through in terms of images. Number 1 is your attitude. It's going to come later in the program, but I'm going to say it now because it's important. Attitudes can change. Isn't our attitudes today changing with one of the biggest things happening in the world? Not our city, not our own personal lives, the world. The pandemic is happening right now. Our entire lifestyle is changing, and how we're going to adapt to it is our attitude. Look at schools from where we are coming from, right? And all our classes still going through in a totally different atmosphere. We've attended tests now to assignments. And how we're going to take it through and overcome this is our attitude. Let's look at attitude, and we're going to go through, as is written there in point 1, 2, and 3, a major aspect of communication as well. Let's see. So let's talk about the first most important thing which I'd like to go through. And I leave you all with a big question. What is attitude? And while we're on a time mode and you all have got time to write it over there, and we're going to take this more in discussion which is running through, this is the one of the biggest elements of personal effectiveness. The I can do it. Now for 1 second, let's park this for a minute. And you see, when we think about great companies, they talk about them being great because they also have a great attitude. Think about various companies that you've got. Think about Nike. And Nike doesn't say, I'm thinking of doing it. Nike doesn't say, so guys, should we do it? Nike, and we know what their tagline is, right? It breeds attitude. So let's once again talk about what I just turned around. Great personalities, great companies come along with great attitudes. It's a win-win attitude. You want to go ahead. There might be potholes going through, but that's all right. Have you got an attitude that you can overcome? That there are certain things which can do. After all, we are still talking about the biggest brand that there is. Brand you. So let's see. I'm putting forward a couple of things. I say attitudes are born out of an individual's belief. Any one of you. Geeta sitting here or Sita sitting here can turn around and say, I've got a belief that. Cool. And because you've got that belief, you go according thinking that is life. That's a belief. But some attitudes are also based on a group, isn't it? You all agree with me, don't you? After all, family is a group and family influences us, doesn't it? So attitude comes out of individuals and groups. But these beliefs that actually come through help in defining one towards a given aspect or a perspective of the world. And that's what finally turns around and caters our viewpoint. Think about politics. Think about a 10th class student thinking about stream selection. And the latest trends and thoughts is what he thinks is to be the right aspect of stream selection. So everybody's going for science, let's go for science. Everybody thinks arts is the way, let's go humanities art. I think commerce is the direction, let's go there. Beliefs, right? It could be a herd mentality. Of course, it could also be wonderful aspects, thoughts and discussions coming through. But the aspect here for you to understand is attitudes come out with this. Why am I talking about it is? There are people who are optimistic and there are people who are pessimists. Oh my gosh, I don't know what we're going to do. We're in a pandemic situation. The world is coming to an end. I don't know what's happening at the border. Listen. What's not in your hand is not in your hand. You've got 24 hours just like everybody else. What are you going to do with it? This is your time to bring up some more skill. So are you young students bringing up some more skill right now? Because you got more time. Typically, you are not leaving home at 7:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning by your buses or whatever. You are not coming back by 3 or 3:30 in the afternoon. You start your classes much more earlier and you end up, later and you end up much more earlier, don't you? You got time in between. Loads of time. Even assignments are lower nowadays. What are you all doing? This is a kind of attitude which you can build up. That's why attitude is not permanent and can be developed. But I was like this all along. This is what I like to do. Great. Now, what do you want to do? So, I'll give you with a train of thought. Where do you see yourself? What do you plan to do? And what are you doing right now to achieve that? And it doesn't matter. Listen, the race is not happening publicly right now. Nobody's viewing you. You're not getting marked for it. So, ask yourself, what is your preparation for what you're doing for any kind of thing? For your board preparations, your career selection, your stream selections, whether you're going for some forward tutorial or career enhancement organization, what are you doing? Is it value? And the minute your guys pick up the value out of what you are doing, that's going to build up your attitude quite a bit. And I'm going to tell you to no simple terms. Listen, some people like to de-stress when they play a game. Then play that game. If that helps you de-stress and gets your mind back on action, gives you loads of confidence, play that game. If you're going to be sitting in that game for 20 hours at a time, then it's definitely not doing good. Remember this word called attitude. Attitude is great. And attitude, personality, and the impact that you make on people before they even know you is extremely important. And this is a great time. Students that are listening into this, please know you are being watched, viewed by your teachers on Microsoft Teams or Zoom when you're sitting. I'm sure it's already happened. The teachers are already saying, guys, you are not participating. This is your time. Because later onwards, you're going to sit for competitive exams and competitive groups, and you're going to sit for things like group discussions and interviews. And you say, I've never done that before. Here's the time for you to sit and raise up your hand, press the hand button, ask a question. I'm also asking you to ask me a lot of questions by the time we finish. But do you ask questions in class? Do you make your effect there? Do you show that you're a student who's interested? Can you give that aspect to your teachers or your coaches that here's a person who's not asking unsundry questions, but he is going ahead really interested. I think here's somebody who's really concentrating. Let's put some interest on him. Attitude plays a big role. And we talked about an optimist and a pessimist. Students, y'all are choosing your streamline, whether it's in discussion with your extended family or your direct one right here itself, your mom and dad, brothers and sisters. You've chosen your career lines. It's going to be your career. It's going to be your area. You got nobody else to go and put this on but yourself. What are you doing right now? And y'all are such a lucky generation. Y'all have got marvelous things on YouTube. I honestly tell you, all love YouTube. Sit on YouTube. But not just to watch some channels and some lovely songs. I mean, they are good. That's the different part of attitude. Get your ego up, get your confidence up. But then, are you researching? Are you finding out what 20 people have to say? You keep a diary, you log it down and say, some people say this, some people say that. I think this is the middle factor. This is what I want to go through. Dad, mom, I've researched. Optimists and pessimists. An optimist talks about even if the water is inside the ship, it's not going to get to me. The pessimist talks about water all around. The pessimist, for example, be an optimist. Look an optimist. And if you can take this down, what I'm going to say right now, do it. Think about the person you want to be, the lady or gentleman, and then walk the talk. Talk properly. Walk as if you are that person already and become that person. Walk the talk. Talk the walk. So talk as your role demands you, and walk as the role demands you. And when you both do these things together, you are creating up a brand image. Let's look into some more things now. And a couple of stuff, as I said, YouTube and emails. Let's look. I would like you all, and I'm going to give you a bit of a homework right now, because I honestly feel if I'm going to tell you all everything right now, and some of you are sitting back, might not want to go through things in detail and listen to it more as a story. So I'm going to leave this as a little, I'm going to give you a little tantalizing little bit and leave you all to read it up. I would love you all to go through today. Nothing happens tomorrow, because you can't do it today. It's not going to happen the next day itself. Read the case study of Lijjat Papad. It's our own Indian brand. Iconic. Maharashtra. Read it. And find out about what a small, this small village in a Maharashtrian community who became self-centered. Not the bad way of being self-centered, but built themselves up and started to go and do things together as a collective village function. And this was led by a lady. And this wasn't 2002, it was in 1995. It's much before that. And a revolution took place. When all of us have tasted Lijjat Papad as a household commodity. And it started not from Manhattan, India, even more micro, a village in Maharashtra. Read through something on this if you want to understand something about attitude. And think about a change agent. I'll leave you with another one. Another one of my favorites, and these two are my favorites. So I'm going to bring you something national, and I'm going to bring you something international. Rovio would have rather not wanted to show the screen, but due to time paucity, that we've got about an hour in this session, I need to show this up to you right now. So I'm telling you, there were a group of people who developed video games and they sent it to video publishers. And the video publishers turned back and said, what's so different? You've got commandos fighting and shooting with guns. People are dying. There's blood and there's murder. What's so different? Why should people take your video game? This game failed 28 times. But the good part of this attitude was the people built this up. And these 8 developers sat down together and said, let's pen down what was it. And in short, ladies and gentlemen, they said, some people are saying our video games are very normal. It's about commando shooting, okay? Our video games is about blood, so people don't want their children to see it, okay? Our video has got a lot of language, and when people get very excited and they use all kind of language around the place, so we should not have this for young children. They revamped and worked on everything. And what did they do? Not boring colors of commandos. They worked on Angry Birds. And that's the birth of Rovio's Angry Birds. Colorful little birds. Boom. Think about it. And everybody played it. The young and the old. You can talk about it. It became a rage. Great movies from Star Wars to Transformers started off with Rovio's Angry Birds. And it finally became a movie. 28 times, ladies and gentlemen. All I'm asking you to do is pull up that socks and think about the greatest brand of all. You. That's attitude. You'll be needing it. Because today's world, guys, is changing rapidly in this COVID expansion. It's rapidly changing. And y'all guys are at the right time. I'm being very, very honest with you. The right time to do a lot of changes right now and make that effect. Nothing is what it is going to be 3 years ago. It's all evolving. Okay? So there we go. Along with this story, let's talk about change. And yes, why is it important? And you all know why it is, right? I mean, 4 months ago, we never thought about Zoom. How many of you all knew about it? I'll be very honest. People approached me for Zoom and I was still very, very, very excited with Skype. Zoom was okay. Didn't need it and I was traveling. Didn't. Look at every one of us. People who never even knew how to use a laptop are now using laptop. IT has boomed. What are you doing? There are some great ads running. The world is changing. Where are you? It's true. So where are you all guys? And this is your personal effectiveness. Change is going to happen. It's always going to be there. How you adapt to it is going to be a little different. So, a couple of stuff to get you all into perspective here. I believe change is a movement out of a current state, how things are today, and it's going to continuously evolve. And you need to be, if nothing else, walking or jogging right now, but definitely not static, my friend. Walking or jogging, because the pace is going to move up. Careers are getting great movements. Things are not the same. Change is going from a transition change now to a future change, to a future state. And things are exciting. You should take out this time to find out what is happening. Change not only can be, but should be anticipated. And if you can anticipate, that means, what does anticipate means? You assume or manage to identify something before it happens. That's anticipation. For example, a lift opens and somebody comes out, it's your neighbor. Without even asking him, you realize auntie is holding a lot of bags of groceries she bought from Big Bazaar. Without asking, you anticipated that she needed help. Anticipate. And today, a big thing everybody is doing is they are anticipating what is the latest change. I'm sure you're doing it for your own schools as well. Suddenly, timetables are changing to Microsoft and Zooms are having with new rules to go and get better educational clarity. Isn't that being changed? Isn't things unexpected? And yes, it is. Are you ready? That's most important. Let's continue a bit more. Let's look at this wonderful aspect. And I'll just give you another little example here. How many of you all know this brand? Not many of you all, I think so, because This was a kingpin, and yes, I did say was a kingpin brand, which sadly did not expect many things of change. And here I'm going to ask you this. Ask your facilitators, teachers, coaches, or guides, and the biggest ones of all, your dad. Ask them which was their first mobile phone, and they will say Nokia. On every petrol pump, there used to be the Nokia phone symbol, which today is the iPhone. Nokia's tagline was connecting people, but with all the rush of IT knowledge coming up and people wanting to use their phone much more, Nokia lost the rat race because of the aspect of wanting to be the king with originally what was the best. But times were changing, students, and Nokia could not keep up with the time. They still continued to go ahead with what was the erstwhile, the former success and glory, what people wanted before. They never realized people wanted things different. Today, today's students, nobody can be excused in the last 4 months if you don't know how to operate a laptop or a phone, even if you didn't know that earlier. Because you are doing it on Microsoft Teams, you're doing it on Zoom, how to do a link, how people are doing these things. You cannot now be dysfunctional. You do not have that excuse. And this is the attitude that you got to bring in because competition is big in the market. And you all are all being thrown into this now with what the world is going through. So why not use it better, right? Okay, I'm going to play something for you. So the video does not have an audio, there's no audio. I'm assuming that's how you wanted it. And if you want to the audience to hear the audio, you'll have to make changes in your settings. The input right now must be your headset. That needs to be changed. I hope many of you all managed to have the connection to take a look at this. There are thousands and thousands of videos that are available all around. but this is one of the many of my favorites. But I firmly believe that you all got the same time. You've got a lot of resources at our hand right now, and this is really a lovely time if you're interested to go ahead and build that brand me. And if we are, and we've got through the first part of an image projection, let's look into the second part, which is art of communication. Let's try to understand this. What is communication? Communication is a two-way process. It's not a one-way process, right? Right now, it's happening as a one-way process because I'm the one talking and showing something up on the screen link. But very soon, what's going to happen at the end of this, in the next 25 minutes, we are going to go through question-answer sessions, and it's going to be a two-way. But what is communication? Typically, a two-way process. Not typically, it actually is. Messages sent from one person to another. The other person thinks and responds. Just because an answer comes back, it's not just right. We have to find out that the question I asked, did you understand it? And have you responded correctly? Now, students, you can see what I'm asking you right now. This is the same thing, what teachers are expecting from you. So when they ask you, all right, please explain the process of what happens in science when this reacts with this. They are asking you not just for a blatant answer, but they're hearing your response. Have you really understood that chemical equation? Or is this person just going ahead and parroting it out? What is the difference? Okay. So this is typically how ideas, words get encoded through various ways, written channels or speaking or body language. A message is passed and people go decode it and revert back. This is your communication model. But once again, now let's go into this idea of a medium. Communication happens on 4 channels. Number 1, very, very effective channel of communication is what you say. Remember this, ladies and gentlemen. What you say. The words you use, the manner you use them, that means paraphrasing them. Verbal is very, very important. Words can define you. How you write your answers are incredible. That shows this person has got a real grasp on the language. The number 2 is vocal. How you say it. And this is how very, very often facilitators, coaches, teachers, when they ask you questions, or even interviewers, from your response, not only the answer, you might have given the answer right, but your response and the manner you've spoken, your vocal, the way you speak, tends to give out the real signal. Has this person understood or not understand? Let's take an example from this. Imagine there is a TV news channel, and a TV news channel is wanting to read out today's news. Let's try to understand verbal with this example. Ready? So here you go. Here's a TV news channel who's reading something out to you. Praising the model of the containment adopted by the Gautam Nagar district in checking the fertility rate and further spread of the coronavirus. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath on Saturday asked other districts under the Meerut division to evaluate at the district and follow the same. He strongly advised to follow this, and he was very proud of the decision so far. Can you imagine me reading this out paragraph for another 2 minutes? I'm sure you'll drop off your chairs and this would really become a lazy Sunday, or you all will run out of here and say, I don't want to attend this at all. While the words are going to be important, the fact is you didn't understand probably what I was saying because there was no energy in my voice. Number 1. Number 2 is I did not go ahead and speak with absolute clarity. Let's try it out again. Dun, 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 dun. Today's news channel. Tracing the model of containment adapted by the Gautam Nagar district in checking the fertility rate, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath on Saturday asked the other districts under the Meerut division to emulate the district and follow the same. He was very proud of the achievements so far. Watch both, and both were the same paragraphs. Is from today's Hindustan Times, page number 2. And you will see a difference between verbals. Once again, verbal, what you say, vocal, how you say. Extremely important. Number 3 important element of communication is visual. So many people turn around and want to see the look. And that's why movies, aspect, feel, your grooming, how you wear your tie, your coat, your presentability, your hair, your background. These are visual stimulators which are very, very important. And last, 4th, is the aspect of vitality. By vitality, ladies and gentlemen, I mean the josh, the energy and the enthusiasm. Now come on, haven't you had it with your friends? You call up one of your friends, let's do a role play here. Hi Ramu, how are you feeling? I'm good yaar, how are you? I'm good Ramu, क्या हुआ? बस सब ठीक है यार, रामू की यार. Ramu, all okay? Yeah, why you feel so? All is okay. Now come on, you all will totally turn around and find Ramu's voice does not have that vitality. He's carrying on telling his friend he's fine, but we can all understand he's not fine. Or something is not there, probably not interested. These are great aspects of personal effectiveness. To judge yourself, because we primarily do a lot of judging for others, right, in life. Let's see about ourselves. And this is it. Verbal, what we say. Vocal, how we say. Visual, how we look. And vitality, the energy we throw out. When we are energetic, the room gets energetic. And this is what exactly tends to happen. 55%. This is a mix. Can you see verbal, blue being only 7? If I tell you I'm sorry because I bumped into your chair right now, I said sorry, right? But how I said sorry makes a difference. So it's not just what I say. What I say, of course, is important. But how I say, how I look, and my energy, my feelings, very, very important. Try it the next time you have your Microsoft Teams with your teachers and your coaches or your further career enhancement programs that you'll go for. And see how that makes a difference. It's an influencing mechanism. Very, very exciting. Okay? Right. Let's understand another important aspect now. Time management. And now in this short time, we're going to understand time management in terms of understanding this thing called time management. I want to give you this aspect very clear upfront right now. It's not time management because you can't manage time. Time is going to go at its own pace. You have 24 hours. I have 24 hours. The Prime Minister has 24 hours. The real topic here, and I purposely not changed it because classified, we all use this word time management. Your time management is poor. No. Your management is poor. It's not time management. Time management is going to be the same. The clock says the same time. If you understand time management, the next is prioritization. How to make priorities. How to handle this big thing called interruptions. And we have it a lot, right? Our mobile phones, phones buzzing, notifications coming up. We get distracted so easy. And we're going to do a little bit of an exercise in here. So let's go ahead. Okay. Okay. Time management is nothing else but the process of organizing and planning how to divide your time between specific activities. Now, here's the good part. Guys, I use this word especially, specific activities. So go and listen to YouTube. Go and play a game. Go outside for a walk. But learn how to balance. And this is how you do it. Good time management enables you to work smarter, not harder, smarter, so that you get more work done in less time. Failing, of course, causes a damage to your effectiveness and causes stress. Let's go through a bit of a toolkit. And this is a toolkit which you are going to find in your PDF download document, which has been sent to you yourself. But factually, I want you to set goals. I would advise you all to keep a diary or write it down or some kind of a mechanism. Don't want to do a diary? Sounds old? I don't have a problem. I'll give you another thought. Put an alarm clock on your smartphone. Set things in priorities. Know what is your body clock. Know what's your body clock. I can work late into the night. I'm not an early morning worker. Early morning, I have to get up and either clean up the house or go for a walk. If I don't get that thing done, my day doesn't start well. So am I an early riser? Yes, I am. Am I an early worker in terms of doing business? No, I don't. I do that after 9. But I can work into 12, 1 o'clock in the night. So I know my body clock. What's yours? Work your body clock smart. Can you study better into the night? If that really brings out better, use it well. Enable your time. Are you an early morning guy? Fine. You can't be, I have to do morning to night and morning to night. You've got to keep it balanced. I mean, if you can do both, that suits you, that's your call. Let's understand this, and I'm going to read it through. I'm going to give you a hint. Log it on to Google. You got it on your downloaded workbook itself. Please do use that workbook. And you got this on Google as well and YouTube. This is called a prioritization handbook. Look at this matrix. Let's look into the X and Y matrix and let's do something really fast just to make it good. Towards the left-hand topmost column is an area which is very, very stressful. It's absolute high. That means you are running against the clock. Deadlines, meetings, sending off your home or your homework, scan your documents, send your homework off to your teacher. Let's go and open up the next assignments. Let's work on this activity. We've got to go. Listen, take a breath, take a breather. While you can do a lot of things, you get tied down. You don't learn new skills. You have no time because you're running against the clock. This prioritization matrix is very, very exciting. Very exciting. There are 4 quadrants of the prioritization matrix. And it is there on your workbook itself. It talks about urgent, not urgent, important. And it works between how to go and find out when to invest your time better, how not to waste your time, and to handle things called interruptions. Suddenly, a call comes in. I think the grocery shop is open. Go and buy some bread. You're doing some work. Is it important? Give it to somebody else. You're doing your work assignment because ma'am wants a PDF. This is important right now. Learn different things of effectiveness. Ask your younger brother or sister to go. Or tell your dad or mom, that is few minutes. I've got to take this PDF document. Then I'll go and buy the bread. Don't be interrupted. Otherwise, you'll go there, you'll spoil. These are various aspects how to do it. Have I told you not to go and buy that? No, I haven't. I've told you to communicate. Put your idea across and learn how to prioritize your job. You will find this on Google called the prioritization matrix. You will find beautiful examples on YouTube. Or get in touch with us if you want to have another chat on this more in detail. But good for you to understand. And where you will go ahead and see is various aspects which can derail you and how to get back on track. Okay? So last, this is how the matrix runs in its 4 quadrants, and I leave you to run it through and look forward to taking this more with you in more details because this is a beautiful, exciting aspect of understanding oneself. I know you want to understand many things of the world. Conquer the biggest brand of all, you yourself. Okay, let's go into this. Planning and organizing is great. If you don't plan, you are not setting your foundation stone correctly. Planning is great. It means evolving and taking up various trends and finding out what comes first, what comes second, what comes third, and what should I do now? What can I do faster? And you got to enable. Should I start with the smallest task first? Because that can be done faster. Or should I start with the biggest, most important? And you've got to talk to yourself. Will the biggest one be impacted if I don't do it within time? Or can I stretch it for a day? And now when you break it, you get to realize my PDF scan is supposed to be 2 days from now. So I can do it by the evening later on. Right now I need to attend the class and send off this homework because this is required immediately. You plan and you organize. Many students have come and reached out to us and said, how do we balance our school extracurricular and now extra coaching classes? And that comes your major aspect of planning and organizing and how you balance. Because you've got to find out what is the need of the hour now, what can be done 4 hours from now, what 8, and what another 12. You'll also need to find out, a beautiful word is, how you can get information from various channels. And this is your planning organizing. I once again say this to you. You all are lucky because you all just don't have books or coaching guides. You'll have got the net at your disposal. And that's extremely important. Because when you do that, from diaries to school schedules to exam prep management, all these are your checklists which you are going to get down, and you make out a list how to do them better. Okay? So what is planning and organizing? Is there a difference? There is a subtle difference. They are both twins who work simultaneously, and they're two sides of the same coin. Planning is to determine what must be done, when it must be done, so the job gets done. Organizing means to orderly and logically classify activities or events, probably even assign important events or activities, what is first, what is second, and achieve the planning objective. This is your major association between these two, and they both work fantastically together. How do we do it? Couple of thoughts to help you out. Number one, assess the current situation, students. What is the need of the hour right now? Is today a Saturday, Sunday where I've got more time and nobody wants to disturb me? Can I invest some more time for this or that? What is my current situation? By that I mean something called SWOT. SWOT. We'll take it through in the future slide. I'm going to just explain to you. S stands for strength, W, weakness, O is opportunity, and T is strength. Find out this, and you need to sit down in your own personal effectiveness and find out what is your personal SWOT. You can have a personal SWOT. For example, if your name is Rahul Yadav, then what is Rahul Yadav's personal SWOT? His strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. You can also talk about a SWOT based on the current agenda happening right now. For example, my chemistry teacher has asked me to do this assignment and work on this kind of 3D model. Assess the thing. Do I know 3D models? Do I have these kind of materials with me right now? Am I good at art and craft? Do I know who somebody else is? Maybe my mom is good at folding. My dad is good at sticking. So I will design this, but that folding part of where that paper has to be folded properly, like an origami sheet, I'll just give it to them properly. So they can finish in 5 seconds more than me. It still looks better. What is your SWOT? Define SMART goals. SMART is also an acronym. Okay? SMART, specific. M stands for measurable. A stands for achievable. R is realistic. And T is time bound. Everything is time oriented. Step 3, when you want to go and do this, develop your plan how you're going to do it. Have your area ready. A messy area creates a messy mind and creates a messy output. Develop your plan how to achieve this. Who am I going to ask? Reach out to people. And let me tell you, students, you do it today and develop up a group of people you can reach out to. Then you will find out you built up something which is extremely important in years ahead. After all, anybody who starts a business, runs a business, drives a business, doesn't do it on their own. They've got loads of people they reach out with, associate with. Share plans, share ideas, see how it is, see whether they're strong enough, whether they are achievable. Fourth, implement plans, get into action. It's time to move ahead. And this is when you don't keep sitting, you tend to move. While many people say this is it, no, it isn't. The last step is, and here's my favorite, students, it's monitoring. That means always keeping check, is it happening on time and the way you wanted it to? Evaluating it, whether it is happening exactly and building up the way you wanted it to build onto, or revising. Oh my gosh, I think it needs some more Fabicol, some more gum, couple of more sheets of origami sheets, not 2. It's all right. Isn't it better that you think about it now and revisit it rather when everything is done? That now you turn around and say, I'm sorry, my building can't stand because I had only used 2 origami sheets. Now I've stuck everything, I can't do it again. If you stopped at that time, you could have used some more sheets. revisiting is good. So step 4 and step 5 does not happen separately. You can move them together with each other. So assess, define, develop, start on it. But when you get on it, monitor, evaluate, and revise. So this is how it typically looks like. This is your SWOT: strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. And ladies and gentlemen, reach out, and you've come from NPOCA, reach out to Mr. Arun Mittal. Reach out to a couple of wonderful tools that he has. I've tested it on myself as well. And lovely tools to test your own strength. And I know he's here, and I'll request him later when this is over to also explain some of these things out, because we have it with us at NCOPA. And there are wonderful techniques for you to gauge your inner beast. Who are you actually? What are your strengths? And when you gauge your strengths, you will notice how you can supplement your career and your onward going stream selections or choices of life based on these. Now, let me tell you one thing. Every one of us has our own strengths, our own weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and I'm being very clear about it. I might have a weakness here right now, which many of you students have as a strength. That's because all of us are balanced in life. But if we start to tend to work on our personal effective skills, we'll tend to work at it more and tend to find out where is the lacunas and where can we work on this stronger, better, faster. Okay? Workbook will have this as a page. Tend to work on it on your own and then reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you more about this. But be very, very brutally clear to yourself. What are your strengths? Because then you will realize how your strength can overcome a weakness. How your weakness can be covered via a strength. Or how your strength can be an opportunity to take more things. Or your weakness can be a threat which does not allow you to get something. As promised, a more explanation here is SMART. And you need to keep this with you while you all are working. And see, we are on a time mode and I'm slowly wrapping up and I gave you all an hour. There's lots to talk about. And this is one of the most beautiful topics because it is for the most beautiful person on earth, you yourself. And here I leave you with something once again. Again in a workbook, again here. Specific. What work do you have to do? What classes do you have? Where do you have to get ready? What do you need to get done with? Measurable. When is my next test? When are my next exams? When are my next cutoff dates? How do I tend to go ahead and prepare myself for this competitive exam? What is missing? Attainable, achievable is you put yourself little milestones, little achievable targets. Okay, I want to go ahead, like for example, I want to sit for a law entrance exam. The exam has to be completed in a particular time. Test yourself. Can you really complete an exam in this relevant time? You thought you could. Sit for it. Find out if it's attainable. Find out which are your strong subjects. Those you can run with. Your slower topics, you need it more. Attainable. Now tend to practice on these more. Relevant. Don't go off track. Stick to the relevant topic, the need of the hour. Research things which are relevant. And I might want to just guide you and warn you on this is often many things are seemingly not relevant and we tend to get lost in our tracks. And that's when our effectiveness takes a miss. And last is time bound. Keep yourself on time. That's what the teachers do, right? Next class is at 10:40. After that, next class is at 10:30. They're time bound. Like we are talking about is saying 1 hour. Case study. And here I leave this with you. And so here is a homework which I would love to leave with you yourself. And if you need help, you can reach out to us. But I'd rather you do it, and I speak for Arun as well. Reach out and I give it to you to do on your own. You've got the workbook now. It's got a lot of stuff that we are doing over here. The case study is how to evolve yourself in personal effectiveness. Choose a career line, a stream. I'm giving you topics. Choose a career line, a stream, and how you are supposed to reach it. What is missing? What do you need to develop? If you're in 10th to 11th right now, what skills do you need to pick up? Where are you going to research? How many hours in a day are you going to put for research, and what are you going to turn to? It's all right, but make a plan. So the case study, ladies and gentlemen, is a case study of the most beautiful person of all, the brand you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, personal effectiveness is a huge topic, and I've just touched the basic level creep of what is required. I would love to be connected with you all in the very, very near future. Please get clued on to everything that NPOCA is wanting to reach out to you all, because we've got a lot of domain experts coming in with a lot of different twists and angles to go ahead and build up that brand. Use that. That's your case study. That's the homework I want you to go ahead and do. Okay? You are the biggest brand, and that's why you get selected. So it's time for lights, camera, and action. And time for you to start being the director of your own script line. And once you are there, be that good director who says, cut, action. Now you can say cut to yourself and cut off that mobile phone, or cut off that comic, or cut off that laziness, or cut off that even extra work and not giving your health a chance. Go for a walk, please. We say cut, be your own director. And that's what this slide has to go ahead and talk for. All right? As I said, loads of stuff left to come over, and that's going to be your action planning for the future. Thank you so much. And once again, I'm Andrew Ryder, and I head Medera Knowledge Solutions. And this is my contact number and my work email ID in case any of you all want to reach out to me. You all are more than welcome and free to reach out to NPOCA from where you all have come, and reach out to all of us and build up the biggest brand that we have to offer. Right? Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And I hand it over here right now to Arun.
So much, Andrew. I'm sure you had a learning experience. A quick feedback in the chat window. You can, since this was, a kind of a deviation from what we have been doing till now.
Yeah.
It would help if you can just give me a quick feedback in the chat window. Meanwhile, there are a few questions, and if you allow.
Yes, please do.
So there is this question, the student intends to ask, I have a doubt how to divide topics and set time management for exams.
Brilliant. A brilliant question. I think this is a kind of question which has been asked not one in a generation, but a billion and zillion times over and over again. But here again, before I even tend to answer that, by the way, can I have the name of the person who had asked this question, please? So I can be a little bit more specific.
Rishik Verma.
Okay. Okay, so Mr. Verma, here's number one. When you're choosing a subjects that you have to go through, of course, this question that you've asked is not very, very direct. It's a very round macro view. What should we do in this circumstance? And please get me here very straight. I'm going to be a coach, so I'm going to be absolutely straight to the point. Question number one is, you need to go and plan according to number one. What is your most important priority? Now this you need to answer. Is there an exam which is coming over next moment? Is there an assignment which has a deadline to it? Now when these words come like deadlines, assignment, exam, or scoring, then you get certain things called priority, and they take your first emphasis. You may alternatively also need to judge between rule number two. Find out if you feel I'm a person who gets stressed out very soon, then you might want to do the smaller things faster to pat yourself on the back that look, I managed to complete quite a bit. I've already finished 3 assignments out of 5. Knowing, of course, the other 2 assignments are really heavy. But you're trying to promote yourself and build in self-confidence that I've done 3 upon 5 and only 2 are left. If that works for you, work it. You see, you've got to think about brand you, what works best from your aspect. How do you tend to work? Go ahead and do it. But when you do decide For example, I'm planning to do this first because this is my academic scoring, which I have to do by this evening, submitting this assignment on Microsoft Teams. You need to make sure there are no interruptions. There is nobody coming in between, because then you are going ahead and defunctioning the process. Then this goes for a toss. Then all that planning does not go through. So whatever you've done here right now does not make sense, because you can plan all you want to, but you'll have an interruption. So this is how you need to work through. For that, number one is choose a good spot where you're going to do your work. Make sure it is clean and nice and gets that same area. See, you can only play sports on a sports field, right? That's how you get that feel. Guys who are sportsmen, I've played sports. I've played state levels. Okay? I always go to a garden or a grass. I love to touch the grass, because that reminds me of running on the lawns. I can't just do it inside a house. What about you? What drives you? So when you need to plan this, you need to plan it accordingly. What I'm trying to say here is all of this works together. You need to work all of it like a well-oiled machine. If you know how to drive a car or a bike, you know what I mean. The clutch, gear, accelerator, all are working together, one body driving that one machine. And that's what you need to do.
The next question is from Pearl. Pearl wants to know, how do I know what is important and what isn't?
I think these are fantastic ones. And before I speak to Pearl, I would like to tell you, Arun, and coming from the years that I've known you and the kind of work you're doing, I'm sure you're finding these questions exciting as well. And why I'm smiling over here and finding exciting is because, Pearl, you've got to understand this. I find I do a lot of corporate trainings, okay? And I find corporate big giants, that means MDs and CEOs, who ask me, how do I get to know what is important and what is urgent? And here it is. If it's urgent, it's fire breathing. It has to be now. People are breathing down your neck. People are screaming at you. It is urgent. But if you realize the words I just used for it was, they're breathing down your neck, they're screaming, it's urgent. That means you're not comfortable. It's a race. At this moment, Pearl, the lady, is not in her most constructive world. So Pearl is pushed against the corner to react. So this is a very reactionary stage. If I've answered urgent now, let's go to important. Important is how you need to channelize, for example, number one. I don't know your classes and what you're on to right now, so I'm going to tell you. What is important is, how soon is the next deadline? Let's work according to deadlines then. How much timelines do I have? What resources do I need to complete these deadlines and these timelines? Do they bring up some value? Some even seemable value? I don't know why I have to do this homework, but ma'am says I have to do it because I get graded. So Pearl, you're getting graded, right? That's value. It adds on to your highest score, grade. It's important. Now you need to find out if that's what you found out now, you go to question number 2. You now need to find out what can be done faster, quicker, and with associated helps. That means, to do this, what all resources do I need? And here comes your planning for your important aspects. If it's not urgent is anyway, do it now. Imagine your dad or mom was making some tea and they've gone somewhere out and suddenly the tea is boiling and it's falling over. You're going to run, right? You're not going to turn around and say, Mom, that's not going to happen, right? You're going to run. That's urgent. But what is important? Planning 2 or 3 things together, and that means when you organize what comes first, what comes second, based on need of the hour and value. It could be your teacher telling you getting marked assignments. It could be you knowing, hey, listen, I want to do that art and craft homework because I love art and craft. Cool. But is it important right now? Could it be done later in the evening as well? Right now, the area is ready to study. Probably you should complete the assignments first and do your art and craft later in the evening. But that won't require much state of mind. This is how you tend to balance. But once again, Pearl, use your SWOT. It will help you tremendously. The SWOT which I was giving you as an example, SWOT, you'll find it in the workbook as well. You need to first define that. Yes, please.
So I think this is an associated one. And how do we avoid interruptions like mobile phones and television?
Good. Sometimes answers are so easy to give. It's so simple. It's right there, and yet we ask these kind of questions. I mean, I would love to tell you, put it away. Now your next thing is going to be, Andrew, but how can I put it away? I work only from my phone. Microsoft Teams is on my phone, and notifications come out. Cut the notification. Move to another place. You see, in all of this, there's one big word which I humbly apologize I've not brought up on the screen, is the word called discipline. You've got to be discipline oriented. It's not going to happen. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, how many of us, and I'm going to be sexist here, boys who dreamed of going to gyms? I know, I've been there, done that. We've gone to gyms. I went to a gym. The first 6-7 days were massive. Actually, the first day or two was massive. The next 4-5 days was shirking and grumbling and going away. And every one of us wanted the Arnold Schwarzenegger abs. None of us lasted because we didn't have the discipline to take it through. It was so easy to get onto something else. So here's another word. Are we doing work which is more easy? And that's why we think we are being productive. Because you see, effectiveness and productive are two different things. We sometimes talk about doing lots of work as productive. But productive means doing the right work to get the right result at the right time. For example, if Andrew Ryder wakes up early in the morning at 6 o'clock and starts to do an assignment or a work, he won't be that productive because Andrew Ryder has now got used to waking up in the morning and going for a walk with his dog. That's not my body clock time. What is your body clock time? So, Paul, you've got to keep all of these things in association and think about what's making it more productive. Also have the art and manner of telling people no. A mom, dad, little brother, sister, elder brother, sister. This is my time of my Microsoft Teams, my schoolwork going on right now. The TV needs to go off. Or, I'm sorry, I need to change my table, please, because I cannot concentrate. Can you stand up and say that? Can you stop being distracted? Can you keep that off? Then you've got to change your outlook. And a lot over here, to build a brand you also means you've got to be this sculptor, Paul, who's taking this chisel and chiseling away on that brick. And that brick is you. And you've got to hit yourself too. And it'll become a system of how to keep things left and right and how to go and associate with them. More questions, please?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Despite all planning, we constantly face lack of motivation after a while. How can we keep pushing ourselves to do it when we are constantly met with discouraging situations or interruptions?
Arun, may I request once again a name of the person who sent it over? I kind of like being personal.
Faisal.
Okay. So here you go, Brian. Let's face it. This question that you're asking today, you're going to ask yourself 2 years down the line and another 20 even down the line ahead of that as well. And it's never going to be finished. Couple of things. You're going to meet a lot of optimistic people in life, a lot of pessimists. But here now, let's talk about brand new. So I'm going to give you a couple of 3 things for you to work on. When I told you make a schedule and a checklist, this is what I mean. If you're going to say, I am going to be happy only when I go for my summer holiday and go to Chandigarh, then your entire route map from Delhi to Chandigarh is going to be boring because you built your happiness only on Chandigarh. What you need to do is make up little smaller plans. Okay, I think I'm going to ask my friends, how long do they finish to write out these 10 pages? They take 10 minutes to write. My first challenge to myself is, it's as a game. How long can I finish these 2 pages? Hey, I finished it too. I think Rishabh and Payal finished it before me, but all the rest of my friends could not do it. Challenge yourself with smaller micro bits. Why am I telling you to do so? You're not doing bodybuilding and going to make a whole body in one go. Even when you do bodybuilding, you go into smaller things like tricep, forceps, and try to move in to find out what excites you more and go on little micro things which add on value to the big aspect. Okay? To build up the big aspect, which is the brand you need to concentrate on the smaller micro aspects. Something which Pearl was saying earlier is resounding with the question you're asking here today. So choose smaller bits. Go and find out that. Give yourself your own targets. Want to be smarter? Go ahead and compete yourself with people around the world. Ask your friends. What do you think happened in games? Why do you think online gaming is so exciting? Because your target is messed with somebody else's. I'm going to give you a classic example, one of the most online trending games running right now. Okay? We talk about PUBG. You play PUBG, and if I say I shot 5 people, it sounds good. Hey, guess what? I shot 5 people. You go and play a match right now and find somebody shot 22. I mean, I'm way bottom of the curve. So actually, people can shoot 22. I'm not doing it with my time. If you're doing study time, find out how are they doing it. Associate yourself also with people who talk the same language. If you want to do the same study, the same aspect, the same return, associate with similar people. I mean, birds of a feather flock together, right? So if you're going to do things with people who are not paneling you on the correct thought, you're going to lose your train. This is certain ways that you can go through. As you're seeing, personal effectiveness is a big, big topic. Loads of stuff to do. I'm glad we're able to touch certain things in this little while that we have together. Yes, Arun, please.
Okay, so this one is from Soha. That's courtesy or backdrop. She wants to know some good books to read.
Oh, okay. So, along with the questions that I have answered to the other panelists, I'm going to first say something to all of you all before I directly answer your question. Guys, your questions are not wrong. Hear me, every one of you, whoever are listening. And this is personal effectiveness, and this is communication. Your questions are not wrong, but they are very macro. For example, and so let's talk over here as me being your guide. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. So you got a lot of books in the background. I don't know what books to read. Firstly, of course, we've got to find out what are your interests and what are my interests. Okay, and it's not just books in the background, but it's on top of what runs interest. Now that you asked, let's go and talk about it. So here you go. You know somebody called Michael Jackson? So here is Michael Jackson. Okay, if you see this guy, he is a toy. But this toy, ladies and gentlemen, the Michael Jackson from the song Thriller, is an assembled toy. I love making toys. Okay, so when I say something about interest, some of the books at the back are how to sculpt, and I've got a small sculptor and a little sharpener, not the pencil sharpener. It's a sharpener which sharpens and chisels plastic, and what you see over here is nothing else but an assembled model of a toy which runs through, and this entire toy, including my lovely tailor outside who designs the clothes. And I go and assemble all these things. So I'm an ardent toy maker as well. Now, these are thoughts. The books range from a lot of other stuff. This whole pile of things from cartoons and comics to books on management and storybooks as well. Arun introduced me as a storyteller, right? So that's how it is. Thank you so much. I appreciate your thoughts about the books, and Michael Jackson said this regard as well. More questions, please.
Okay,
I'm okay with that.
So this question is from Archita. She wants to know if I have interest in multiple fields, how do we choose one?
Wow. Okay. Could I have your name again, please? I was just excited.
Archita.
I was so excited on the question. I was so excited on the question that I was remembering your name in the beginning, and then when the question went through, super duper excited, smile on my face. Okay, so a couple of stuff here. I know Mr. Arun Mittal very well, and I see the work he's doing, and I would urge you all, number one, to log on to the website and search NPOCA on YouTube and see the dozen loads of extremely, extremely important programs that are there which are answering to this question. I will just sum it up in 2 sentences for you because I can go on and on and on, right? We're talking about brand new. There's so many brands that are going through and so many job opportunities available. Anybody who tells it's not there is totally wrong. My only advice to you is choose a stream which can open up, choose a career, stream, selection, which give you loads of opportunities, which opportunities never ever die. If that opportunity opens up, it mushrooms. Like my favorite tree is the banyan tree, the Bargat Kabir. Why? It mushrooms over and gives you many other ones. Let me tell you my aspect. I always wanted to be a chef. But I did my graduation from St. Stephen's College. I finally went through the management programs of hotels. I was in hotels in operations. I became regional training head of a very important chain like the Taj. I joined into consultancy. I've written books. I've advised people. And today I come on to being a food panelist. But I'm not actually being on the guide of wearing an executive chef, head chef uniform. Where I've been so, I've interacted with various things. So when you've got to choose, okay, Ashita, you've got to go and find out how does that sync with the special brand you, what is exciting, and what are various aspects that can be brought out, which come with your better self-confidence and your persona. Because if your persona matches with it, you'll find out your job, your stream selection gets more exciting. If it has your teeth, your interest, and your special values, choose something which gets an embalmment of all of these. And yes, please log on to our other sites. Our other videos as well. I'll find them extremely exciting.
I would request all audience to stop typing in their question. We would try and take whatever is already there. So 12:45 was the last question. I'm going to go backwards. From a teacher, how do we encourage students to do self-reflection?
Teachers, coaches, guides, facilitators, mentors, we've all got this wonderful aspect, and thank you so much for being a part of this program and asking such a question. The reason I paused is I've got so many things to tell you right now. I'm wondering what to put out first on my list. So here goes. From a teacher, educational specialist, to a facilitator, guide, coach myself, my first question. You can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Your aspect is how to make these people think for themselves and believe in it. So I leave you with this. WIIFM, an acronym. WIIFM. At every point of time, inculcate what's in it for me. Isse mujhko kya milega? The day somebody gets value, they will be in it much more. Let me give you an example. At a consultancy training program, just about 5-6 months before COVID, there was an interesting panel and somebody told me, Mr. Ryder, knowledge is power. And I turned around and said, I would really seriously beg to differ. Knowledge is not power. Value is power. When you have value, you will do everything to achieve that because it is of value to you. It's like that, जब तक खुद को चोट नहीं मिलेगा, एहसास नहीं होगा. So you got to create value. Now, at this point of time, to create value and make them really understand that, as we've already started moving aside from various sacrosanct teaching modules, we are also doing various things like now logging onto Microsoft Teams, using internet tools. Give them internet-based assignments. Choose a video. Let them watch the video. And I apologize, I was looking through some of the chats and I found out the video wasn't working, and I humbly apologize because from my end, and I tested it yesterday and even this morning, it worked perfectly fine. I tried it on my alternative number, which is an alternative account, and it worked fine there. Disappointed to read that many places it did not reach you. I'm sorry. But coming to you, ma'am, once again, is inculcate certain motivational videos, but don't just send it to them. Now, you listen to this part very carefully. Don't just tell them, for example, don't say, watch this movie and you will learn something from it. No, ma'am, they'll watch a lot of things and they'll pick up their own intervention. Do a clip of that movie and run it through with you. For example, turned around and said, when Kabir Khan turned around and said, "Mujhe Gujarat, Rajasthan nahi chahiye, mujhe India chahiye," he means is, "Mujhe Indian chahiye." What does that mean? I mean, I want all my 10th class students to do this. Make the video suit you. So, ma'am, don't just motivate. Send it via videos. Use YouTube as your resources. Use it very interactive, but don't leave it to them. Because you see, ma'am, it's going to be distractions again. You send them a YouTube link, there'll be a whole pile of things to screen down. Suddenly they'll say, "Oh my gosh, Alia Bhatt is going to marry Ranbir Kapoor. Let's click on that site." And you suddenly go and change. People will tend to lose. Ask them to change, run it with them, tell them what they learned, and give them your lesson. I say, guys, what I wanted you to see is how did Kabir Khan turn around and say this? This requires a lot of the latest tools which are running through. In fact, ma'am, it will be of interest to you. We're also doing something in terms of doing betterment in terms of faculty webinars, and you might be interested in that as well and can reach out to us also for that. Any more questions, please?
Yeah, the last two is what I think we can accommodate. It's already one, almost one.
And we've got our numbers and everything there, and NPOCA. I speak for you right now, Arun, if you may, that whatever question, we will respond back to you. You see, I'm excited on this because I am a brand builder, and I'm very excited on the questions. I assure you, I'm sure Arun will also second me on this, and I'm speaking for his behalf. Reach out to us with your queries, and we will respond back. Yes, sir. Please, sir.
How to concentrate and complete the specific topic in a given time. And there are a couple of other questions around staying focused, both from a short to a long term period, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
So there are a couple of things. If you find this to be an issue, number one is it's not an issue. It's a very common feat. It's happening with everyone. And now that you are at home, there are 1,000 things that you can turn around and do. So let's start, instead of now agreeing with you, which I already have, and saying that it is there, giving you some comfort, let's go to the answer. When you do a kind of work, and that's how many people today who are office goers are having a big issue. I'm speaking to my own neighbors and I'm working from home, right? I speak to my own neighbors and some of them are saying, Andrew, it's very difficult to work from home because we're not used to that competitive environment which used to be there in an office politics. And now at home, it's not there. I take a lot with the question that you've asked here. So here it is. Number one is, when you're doing your assignment, design your area, please. It can't be messy. A messy area is a messy mind, is a messy output. Rule number two, if you got rule number one is, make your area as user-friendly and as simple as possible. If you got a designer table and you got a Mickey Mouse cupboard, and take all those things aside if they're distracting. Keep it very simple. Keep it very, very simple. See what appeals over to you. Number two is, have a competition with yourself. Have a competition with a friend. Make a couple of group study buddies. Okay? Have a competition and timeline yourselves according to them. See how much have they gone and done. And not by saying, ask them to submit it to each other. Do that. Push yourself. Let me tell you one thing, like my gym example. The first 2 weeks are going to be tough. You'll want to give in and say, listen, what Andrew Ryder has just been telling me sounds all gyan, not possible. It is possible. It very much is possible. I'm telling you. If I had another half an hour, I'll give you 20 stories of how this is possible. And 2 of my own personal life. It very much is. But the question is, if you surround yourself with distracting things, you're going to get distracted. Keep yourself in a separate area, a separate room. Keep yourself time bound. Keep your things around you. For example, even something silly like keep your water bottle or a juice packet or even a packet of chips right next to you. So you don't have an excuse to get up. Keep that chips and keep it in a bowl for all I care. So that you don't need to leave that table or don't need to even crumple a packet. Your pens and papers should be ready. Keep an organizing thing and mark yourself. Mark yourself as to what is to be done. But here's one little thing before I stop. Don't make a big checklist for yourself. You just started. Keep it simple. Make yourself win. See, guys, it's as much as any lovely little game that we all play. The first 2-3 levels of the game are easy, right? You've reached level 2. Excellent. Wow, man. It makes them feel good. Reach level 72, then you'll see how difficult it will be. Yes or no? So make your level 1 and 2 exciting as well. Guys, can I study for 2 hours? Can I finish this work right now? Can I do this? Set your own targets and say, I've completed this. Reach level 2. Have a competition among friends. Make it exciting. And that's why you see, these are various ways which you've got to go ahead and do the same thing which companies and your mobile phone is doing to you. Gamification. Reach it out to yourself. Create an aspect and cut off all these extra things. But yes, if you're not going to invest on some time and expect this to be done in 2 days, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. I'm telling you right now. You're building brand new, my friend. And that's going to take quite a long time. Correction. It's never going to finish. It never is. Okay? Another question?
Okay. The last one for the day. Parents want me to get good marks, but I want to do something else. Job is not my goal. I want to make a community for self-development. How can I manage this? I would take 1 second.
Okay, couple of things.
Yeah, and I'll just take 1 second. We had this session on entrepreneurship. I would request you to go and watch this after Andrew's given his feedback. Yeah.
So for once, I know the question. For want of better stuff, for other people who are listening in the last 5 minutes, could you just take another 10 seconds and just quickly recap that question for me?
Parents want me to get good marks, but I want to do something else. Job is not my goal. I want to make a community for self-development. How can I manage this?
So this question, once again, I asked to repeat because I wanted all of you all to listen to this. So a couple of this all. So whatever we've done so far in personal effectiveness, use this thing here as well. Number one is, please do understand where your parents are coming from. And I'm going to speak for both parties, okay? So that's what a guide does, okay? I'm both of your partners. The joint success is joint success of both. So hear this. Please find out why they're saying what they're saying. And please understand that number one, marks are important. Anybody who tells you they're not important is not talking sense. They are important. Is it the only thing? No, it's not the only thing. But it is quite a big thing. Now, a lot of what you said, and I think that's why Mr. Arun jumped into this, quickly talking to you about the entrepreneurship video, which is there on YouTube or the NPOCA, and please do watch it once again, is you sounded as if you wanted to start something on your own or build something on your own. It sounded very entrepreneurship. I would again caution you on this word of job. So you've got to first, number one, personal effectiveness, change this line between what is a job and what's a career. A job is doing a particular job, and I changed a job. My last job was working with Nike shoes. My current job is working with Bata shoes. It's a job. I work for Nike now with Bata. But my career is a shoe designing specialist. That means tomorrow I can work for Mantra, or I can go ahead and work for eBay, or I can work for Amazon because I'm a shoe designing person. And because I'm in design, and I might want to even go further and do other things. Okay? An aesthetic wear and go into anything else, I probably might want to join an apparel company. Are you seeing what I'm trying to do? Number one is a job versus career. Number two is understanding what your parents are asking. Number three, the same one, if I'm not mistaken, was a lady who asked this question at the beginning, Pearl. I think it was her. Apologies if I've got the question wrong. Who asked about choosing of lines and choosing of careers, and I turned around and I told the same thing straight off. I said, listen, you've got to go ahead and find out, number one, what you want to go ahead and do. And let's be very brutally honest here. For example, if your dad runs a massive showroom and you know it's going to come to you and it's all right, so I know my career in the end, my job is going to take over that showroom. It's different. But you can take over the showroom and do something else also, right? So first, be very, very clear what you want to do in life. Find out the value. Your parents might be asking you this question because they want to find out from you what is the value. They want to see whether my child is safe, set, established, yes or no. In your case, just the advice that I gave people beforehand is, number one, come little micro. What is it that you want to do? And I think, yes, that video might be able to help you quite a bit to find out what it is. And then you've got to be, of course, turn around and bring out value by saying, hey, Mom, I want to go ahead and run something very, very good, which is the latest brooms made from grass. Because you see, grass is plenty around the place and everybody is talking about cleanliness and COVID is around the place. I want to be a social COVID warrior. My brooms are going to be made of grass. Now, you found value. There's COVID. People are doing it. People are clapping and button breaking onto cheering onto people who are doing all kinds of work. You've chosen a broom made of grass. Now, you found out a new thing. At least you found that, right? Find out what is your niche. The word I use with you is, what's your niche? Find out how is it going to develop, what is going to take forward and bring out things more. And by then, you can go and compare. But please, my aspect to all of you sitting here is, don't chase a job. Jobs are plenty. Build your career. And when you build your brand right now, that's going to come out. Yes, please. Mr. Mittal, any more questions?
Done for the day, sir. I think it's already 10 minutes past 1. So thank you everyone for being here today. Thank you, Andrew, for taking out time, right? You've been an excellent support for us to reaching out to the students and the community